as if nothing ever happened. Alright, welcome to the finals of WardiTV May, as we are going to start out in the bottom right side of the map with the blue Protoss player MaxPax in his best of 5 final, seeing who can grab a victory today, as we will take in the top left our red Terran player from Team Liquid, Clem. Game 1, best of 5. And we will see who will take the initiative in this finals. Starting up on Pylon. Map's been getting a good bit of love. Fun base layout, interesting base, especially beyond the 4 base setup, I think, is where it gets very interesting, so it becomes a bit of a challenge to move later and deeper into the game. But at a point of the game where you're already kind of teched up. It's not like it's like a 2 base kind of map and you're like, well, getting to the third's really tough. You get to play a good game, and then it's a difficult kind of time to kind of, it kind of makes you kind of have a tougher time when it gets to that kind of stage of the game where both players have army set up. So it really encourages what I think is a very healthy kind of state of StarCraft 2. I always like maps that kind of do this, and I know a lot of the players are very much so finding those kind of maps enjoyable as well. So thanks for some good SC2 as we get ourselves into this opening game. SCV and the Probe will nibble up against one another for the next couple of moments here. Let's just see ourselves. Depot coming down. And we get this all up and running. The Probe coming about. Obviously having our Cybercore and the Nexus coming through. Reaper is on the way around as well, as the factory continues into action, into play, just for the moment. And yeah, factory opening from Clem. It's so weird going from, honestly, like, I don't know how Clem goes from playing Protoss versus Terran all day to now playing Terran versus Protoss, because I've just casted him playing PvT for an hour. And now I'm like, man, it's so weird to talk about Clem doing the factory stuff and so on, But yes, Clem is the guy doing the factory stuff. And that factory is coming online, going to be finished up shortly, with the Reaper currently about halfway done. Nexus building on the natural. As we get ourselves a little bit of setting up. Reaper coming about. Adept is going to be shading and threatening here a little bit too, to try and get on top of that Reaper perhaps at some point. Second Reaper popping up, Hellion coming in, Starport on the way, commence into building. Twilight Council comes up from MaxPax here as well, so we are going to see they got Twilight Council already coming online. The Warp Gate building through. Adept will chase the Reaper for a couple of moments as well. It's just going to go push that out. And it's going to pull back. There's a little bit of action on the natural. There we go. Hellion and company taking on the Adept, as the Reaper actually took a couple shots already. Going to want to try and keep that out of reach. Did a pretty good job of it, and we will get the Adept kill without losing anything ourselves. So Clem is able to keep those units up and online. Do a very good job of that. As we just have the Blink and the Warp Gate continue to come through. The Reaper's actually going to chase for Adept too, and we lose the Hellion. So the Hellion goes down. The other Reapers will continue to come across. Blink and Warp Gate still building. Global Facility and Gateway continue to come about right now, as we have got the Medevac and the Marines coming up as well. There is the Adept. Going to continue to shade over. We are trying to get the Reaper. So there's 2 Adepts now for a Reaper and a Hellion, and obviously this Reaper is just going to poke about a little further. Sees the Twilight Council upgrading. No surprise that MaxPax wants to play a Blink opening. Very much so in MaxPax's kind of typical guise of how he likes to play this matchup. So, yep, no real surprise there at all. Let's just see the Orbital Facility at the front coming through. The Gateway is rallying forward. That Blink is halfway done. And yeah, we just settle for a couple of moments here as the Medevac comes boosting across with a couple of Widow Mines. Stalkers immediately getting in and on top of the mineral line as well. So first Widow Mine goes off for a probe. I don't think we're going to save that mine, although maybe gets away for the moment. Maybe if the Medevac gets around here soon. Going to go for the next probe in the main base, and we are going to connect on that. Widow Mine's actually walking away on the natural, by the way. It's getting out the front. MaxPax lost track of it. Yeah, he lost track of it because he was obviously just busy, and I love it as well. He hides down here. He's actually going to get this Widow Mine to be able to come across and burrow on this third base mineral line. So Clem, getting the Widow Mine out, that's a huge deal. Like, that's something that doesn't typically happen. So all of that damage done initially at 0 cost to Clem. Still has the Medevac and a mine in the back of the main base. So still has the threat of coming back in. And still has this mine here too, if he notices it, which right now, yeah, you just burrow up. I think burrowing up here is really smart because your opponent doesn't see it, and you have the low chance of maybe catching a worker transfer. And that would be kind of like a really free pickup of worker damage, so yeah, why the hell not? If worst case, you probably get at least just one probe here, right? Worst case, you get one probe. Best case, you get like 10 probes that transfer into that corner. So it doesn't look like MaxPax is going to do that. He's sending the probes in a bit of a different direction as he long-distance mines currently. But yeah, like I say, there's no reason not to try and make the most out of that Widow Mine. So yeah, love it for Clem. Been a good opening for him so far in these early few moments. MaxPax coming across the map. Clem has double bunker, which is in position to obviously just protect against those stalkers initially. This Widow Mine fires and is actually even going to try and make a getaway. I love that Clem's paying attention. You know, notices when that mine is fired and will try and just hide it again. Oh, the Stalker's going to get it, though. It nearly went past. It nearly made a turn to get away, but the Stalker just saw it on the low ground there instead. And that is going to be a Widow Mine going down. So that Widow Mine gets cleaned up. We do have the charge and the +1 still coming about. Additional gateways going down also here currently, so we get all of that being brought through. And +1, stim, combat, but everything coming online. Marine Marauder coming up. That reactor finishing shortly on the starport. A couple of barracks coming through as well. So again, just a little bit of everything coming up at the moment. Getting settled down here in this game 1. The few Stalkers trying to fire up a few shots. Trying to get something done. The charge about to complete. The +1 attack starting. But yeah, it's really kind of obviously been a Clem game so far. He's been able to comfortably control the pacing, control the damage dealt. And while resources lost is even, those Widow Mines have obviously been able to deny some mining time and so on as well. They've kept some units busy. Now MaxPax will try for the first time with the Warp Prism across the map to try and maybe do something for himself here. There's a couple of medevacs will boost down the left side. Actually going to be getting a jump onto this Prism already. And going to be able to get rid of that. So Prism will fall. Total +1. The Robo Bay coming through. The rest of the buy is still just going to be there, hitting those few Stalkers. And again, the +1, the combat shield coming through as well as Clem continues to head down to the bottom side of the map. And a little bit of bio still chasing, and the SCVs are going to pull. Wow, so Clem's into the SCV pulling as well right now, is he? Just likes how this game has gone so far. There's the Widow Mine coming back over. Oh, I love that. Turns onto the Stalker. When you blink and you're in range of the medevac, or in range of the Widow Mine, it's always worth letting the Widow Mine just do its thing. That anti-armor missiles, the first few Zealots there with the Raven. It's a little bit of his own army as well, but he is getting through that the majority of that force, and he will keep his tanks alive, dropping over the force fields to take position quickly. Wants to try and work on that Robo facility if he can, because denying the Colossus here would just make his life ever so much simpler. And I think Clem is just going to absolutely steamroll his way to a Game 1 victory, as this has just been convincing. From the very get-go, Protoss does absolutely nothing, no chance to really take part in the fight initially. Here we go from two sides. We're going to try and go for the engagement in to clean this up. All he's going to do is clean himself into a GG, and that's going to be Clem taking the first game of this series. Absolutely. Guys, Clem is in Korea right now. Bottom left-hand side, our blue Protoss player is going to be down a game and trying to bring it back. MaxPax. Blue Protoss in game number 2 now of this best of 5. While in the upper right-hand corner, we're going to have ourselves the red Terran player from Team Liquid. We have got Clem. You did the same in the whole GSL final. That's really not true. Yes, he SCV pulled, but if you're gonna try and talk big about what's going on, then I think we've got to really differentiate between what SCV pulls are. Q did very dedicated 2-base builds that from the very start of the game were clearly intending to be SCV pulls because he was prioritizing certain things. He would cut the starport a lot of the time even to hit a very specific timing of SCV pull. This is a build where Clem, if it didn't go do as much early, he could very easily just drop the 3rd CC down and he's playing a very regular game. I mean, realistically, he won the first fight without the SCVs even being there, you know? Like, when you look back at this game, you could actually look at the start of this and be like, well, he actually won the first fight. The SCVs came in from the right side afterwards. They weren't really needed. I actually think Clem wins this without the SCVs. Because he just put that much of a distraction on MaxPax's early game, and MaxPax did nothing with his initial setup. Colossus was late for how little pressure he applied. You know, it was just a great identification from Clem that MaxPax was not where he's meant to be at that stage of the game, and he just goes for it, you know? That's very different to being like, right, no matter what happens in the early game, good or bad, I'm going to cut at 39 workers, I'm going to pull the boys, and it's really reliant on these 3 siege tanks getting sieged up and being a part of this, right? So, yeah, very different situation, I think. So, yeah, I don't know. I think, yes, obviously SCV pulls. I'm not trying to say SCV pulls are not a little bit of the meta right now. Obviously, some Terrans are finding that as the highest success rate of kind of playing this game, but I think there's more to it than that. There's more to it than just like, that's it, every Terran's SCV pulling, right? So yeah, I think he's, I think there's just a couple more layers to it than just being like, yep, this is it for Terrans forever. I don't think it's quite the same. Alright, we're gonna ready up. Don't see successful Terran late game. I don't know, didn't Q whack Classic around in some late game? I mean, Q got ahead and then absolutely threw the game away and then proceeded to play a very long game against Classic, which he then was able to win. So, I don't know. Is it time to make SCVs the same health as probes drones? Do you think that would affect the SCV pulls much? Genuinely wondering. Obviously, it would affect them. You know, if you pull 10 workers even, that's 50 less HP, right? But like, the SCV pull is powerful because of the type of units Terran have versus the type of units Protoss have. More so than anything else. So, let's see what happens in game number 2 here. As the Marine's going to get an Adept. That was another thing. The early trades have been very good for Clem in the last game and for this game too. And like I say, that first unit going down so quickly for MaxPax is so frustrating because now the Adepts are not scary at all, really. This Adept will try and threaten a little bit, but it's unlikely to really come out to anything overly successful right now. The Mule drops down into the natural mineral line, just gets that put into place for a moment. Adept will shade about. Why is Clem in Korea? I think he just went to play some games on the Korean server before Dallas. I think he just went to practice a little bit. Yeah, I thought he was going for GSL qualifiers, but apparently GSL schedule's pretty terrible for the non-Koreans because they have to like basically fly around the world multiple times in coming weeks with the Star Zagora event. So yeah, he's just there to practice for a little bit, it seems. Rover facility coming up, Gateway and the Blink coming online. And just have ourselves the Siege Tank and a couple of Marines coming about, Viking on the way. Observer still chrono boosting on the rowboat facility, so we get that going. Again, the Blink will be finishing very shortly. The Observer coming up, the Assimilator coming through. Those Marines going to get a Stalker already. Cyclone as well, helping with that. And pre-Blink, this is actually kind of scary right now for MaxPax because the Cyclone lock-ons are difficult to break, especially if you start losing Stalkers. You lose a lot of power here. Now Blink is nearly done, but still not yet. We lost so many Stalkers before Blink is finished and MaxPax. Oh my god, Robo Facility's trying to get that Immortal out ASAP, but he's going to lose 2 of his gateways. That's 2 of 3 gateways, sorry. The first one died just as I opened the structures tab, so I saw a weird number there. But yeah, he goes down to 1 gateway. I mean, now you're going to depower the Robo in the front as well. I mean, okay, we're actually going to focus on the units, which is probably the smarter choice as the Stalkers come in from the other side. We can get some probes here for sure. I mean, take your pick as Clem. There's really very few ways that this goes badly for you at this point in time. It's going to be seeing the Marines still pressing forward. Well, I mean, in this case, MaxPax just dies to the first push. That is... I mean, nothing fascinating about this one, just... MaxPax, the Stalkers get caught a little bit, they take some damage, and he's pretty much just dead. I don't think there's much saving of this right now. Tank showing up so it can get some shots off on that mole. There's not a lot of Marines remaining. You might, like, if you don't die here, you die to the follow-up, because Clem's just going to have so many more units. Like, your economy is in absolute shatters. Immortal just gets knocked down there as well, so that's both your tech units that just got taken out. Yeah, we should probably just lift up those few Marines and get reinforcements before we continue. MaxPax is on 4 army supply. Those 2 Stalkers, that's his entire army. That's it. And he's only got 1 gateway. He's only got 1 gateway. Nothing was in the Robo. He pulled the probe, so he doesn't have a lot of money. He has nothing. He's dead. Game 2 is going to go very rapidly over into Clem's favor. Damn. Banshee showing up. No defense here just now. No cloaking for the Banshee. It's a slight saving grace. Don't have to build observers or anything, but I mean, okay, why not MaxPax? Let's just pretend Clem might AFK and not attack your third base. I mean, that's the kind of position MaxPax thinks he's in, where he's like, I have to pray that Clem decides to go home and not do anything else for like 3 minutes. Because I've got no way to play off of this from a normal... Like there's no reason to build a third here, apart from just utter acceptance that you're in a terrible... Other events going on that make it a little bit difficult for us to do our usual StarCraft kind of casting all the time thing. So, again, just a little bit of a heads up that the stream will be a little bit less common, simply for the fact there's other tournaments happening on other channels and stuff like that. Well, down 0-2 and in need of a miraculous turnaround right now. It is going to be our Blue Protoss player MaxPax in the top right corner of the map. Taking on the Red Terran, bottom left, Clem from Team Liquid. Yeah, it's been a hell of a series from Clem's point of view. He's been very good at just taking advantage of gaps in the defense of MaxPax and just absolutely punishing him for any slight mistake. It has been brutal so far, to say the least. So, not the best of series so far, and so we've got to cheer for MaxPax to bring it back a little bit, because I think it's fair that we want MaxPax to bring it back a little bit. No, seems like a very reasonable thing to request. Cybercore coming through. Just going to have ourselves the Reaper coming about, Orbital Command coming online. Get ourselves settled in for a couple of moments. And next coming through, the Cybercore coming up, so we just get ourselves settled in. And yeah, we'll see if MaxPax can kind of get a little bit of a better something going for himself here than what he's been able to get until now, because it really has not been super pretty. He's not been able to really play his game. Is not really. I mean, he's barely even attacked. I don't think he's attacked at all. Like obviously the first couple of adepts or so, but that's pretty much all he's been able to do. It's a little crazy. It's a little crazy. We're gonna fight a couple probes taking damage. We've got that Nexus coming online as well, so a little bit of setting up right there. The Adept coming through as well. Marines is going to jump out the bunker and just going to jump onto the Adept. So the Adept's going to go down again. MaxPax continuing to lose out on that Adept. Kind of just time after time right now. Across the map, we do get a pickup on the Reaper though. So the Reaper goes down. Alien on the way from Clem will give him a little bit more ability and kind of activity available on the map, so something for us to think on in that regard. As that Blink starts up from MaxPax, so bringing Blink straight through into play. The Warp Gate is coming online, Robo Facility getting started as well. Adept is just going to shade about. Raven coming online. Plane's on the way. Barracks coming up. And Blink halfway for the moment. Marines is going to go after the Adept. It's going to chase that over. Adept is going to throw a shade down as well, so it's going to be coming about for now. As the Marines and the tank produce from Clem, so he's just going to get himself set up as per usual. 2 more barracks on the way. Obviously, Starport already available as well, so he does have That's already up and running at the moment. And the blink coming about. The Nexus on the way through. And an assimilator. Add a couple pylons. A lot of that set up for the moment as the starport swaps away. And just playing some add-on swaps in general here at the moment as the barracks will get to the tech lab for the stim pack. And we will see what the next stage is. Obviously 3 racks, an engineering bay, bio upgrades, and obviously probably just a reactor on that starport to begin getting toward the medevac production is kind of just the obvious choices at the moment for Clem, so let's see if those obvious choices remain popular. Raven gets around the back of this main mineral line, drops down 1 order turret. Already will begin to grab through a few of those probes, and looking for more over on this side as well, as we just have a couple workers going down. Again, charge coming up, Forge on the way, Nexus building, batteries building at the moment. This Marines pull back up to the top, so again, away they go. Gathering right now. Stimpack, Combat Shield, +1. Will continue to come through for the moment or so. The Stalker's coming about as well. Nice little scan. I'm going to get rid of the Observer. Still got the upgrades coming online. Have the Order Turret just firing through and hitting a few of those probes. The Stalkers would like to try and come by as well. Just going to have the Stalkers going to get turned away. Siege tank in the bunker will be right there. Again, +1 on the charge coming through. The probes in the gateway coming online. And just all those upgrades pouring on through for the moment. The Stalkers going to continue to move around a little bit. +1 on charge. Going to set up for a little bit. And just stim combat shield, +1 attack, all building about, +1 charge on the way as well. Bring that all up. By already pushing forward, and the Stalker's going to have to just step away from this. Siege tank getting siege as Clem will have 2 more barracks, but it is with a 3rd CC as well. So obviously moving towards that 3rd command center. Not moving in toward the straight up aggression right now. Actually wants to try and play into the more macro kind of focus of a game. So 3rd CC comes through. MaxPax will begin to get his Robo Bay online and begin to give himself access to the Colossus. So we'll get that set up for himself. And the cluster shells are part of this. That Marine and the Marauder going to come over too. Just going to go running straight across. Mine's coming by. Reactor, Tech Lab, both building as well. Just going to see the couple of SCVs are going to get chased around. The Zealot going to be right there. Would mine goes off and that Zealot will fall. A few Stalkers gathering up together. And the Zealot's getting a little bit of a pick off right away there too. So just going to get another nice little grab as the Bio Army across the map. And you've got Stalkers on both sides. Just going to have to chase those, and actually will be able to force the blink away. So we'll have to respect that a little bit. They're going to go diving forward here. MaxPax is going to take a jump onto this. The tank going down, and Clem realizes his best chance might just be to go to the other side. Losing some SCVs using the Raven, Order Turret, and Widow Mines defensively. Gets into the main base. Stalkers make a grab on one of the medevacs straight away, but they will not stop everything from unloading, and MaxPax is not going to be able to recall here. The Colossus coming up the ramp, just rallying across in the wrong kind of way. Oh, Clem, he might lose some units there because he just, yep. He went back because he missed the full liftoff, and his hesitation probably exposed that medevac, allowing the blink onto it. So MaxPax is able to make a grab. Clem probably would have just been away with that medevac otherwise. Obviously just wanted to try and save as much as possible. And one of those rare occurrences where Clem kind of stumbles over the decision. Where he's like, oh, I really want those units. And so then, yeah, but the hesitation costs you probably more than you save by trying it. Now MaxPax coming across the other side. What I do like for Clem is he got rid of the Colossus. There's only one Colossus in play. It's a big deal. That means much less to worry about here splash damage wise. So in that regard, Clem can kind of relax a moment or two. How are we going to defend this as MaxPax is threatening to just walk up into the natural expansion? Widow Mine there. I love that Widow Mine. Target fires into the center of the sentries. Kills one, splashes the others. It's actually a pretty cute little move. I like that a lot as the Ghost Academy coming up from Clem and the Armory to try and continue his setup in the game. It's just trying to still build further into that aspect for the moment as the extra Colossus joining us now. So we're going to have 2 Colossus. This is really the scary moment a lot of Terrans face, where the Colossus count gets a little bit higher, and with that Colossus count getting a little bit higher, a lot more kind of gets to be done overall. Because now it's a much scarier kind of army to attack into. 2 Colossus, you can't really fight that without a proper Viking count. So you've really got to start respecting that here. And that respect that's required is going to be the challenge for the Terran player. You know, how do you fight this army? When do you have a proper amount of Vikings to make that okay? Drop an auto turret or 2 down. So again, using that Raven as a tanking mechanism. Going to chase here. The Vikings looking for that Colossus. The Zealots looped around the side, and they will go for a few SCVs. We did kill one of the Colossus right now, but that chase did cost you a lot of HP on the bio units. Medevac's out of energy already. Another Colossus showing up, so MaxPax just keeps on rallying units back across the map and looking as though he may have enough of an edge here in this game number 3. It was that sequence of events with the drop. It was just a little bit too expensive for Clem. He lost a few too many units. He needed to get a few more units out of that main base to make this whole situation that much better. As MaxPax is able to, so far, look as though he's bringing this back. And going to keep on bringing this fight over to Clem after a first couple of games where it looked like he was going to be dead in the water in this series. And that is kind of the magic and the kind of weirdness of this, you know, sequence of series that these two play against each other. Is that some days it's like, oh my god, how do you ever beat this guy? How is he ever going to take him out? And then the next game is like, well, look, I'm just going to change a couple of things and it looks so much more approachable, so much more manageable. After the first 2 games looked like MaxPax was going to have no chance at all, right? So yeah, well, we just have ourselves the couple of SCVs going down. Colossus still going to apply pressure here. The Vikings going to shoot back. How many the Vikings actually get rid of the Colossus? If you can get rid of the Colossus, I really believe a little bit for Clem in surviving through this. Supplies have evened out. Zealots into the natural is going to be a problem. Clem has no real good answer to that right now, but he's going to get every single Colossus in the game. I mean, that's a pretty big deal, no? Completely resetting the Colossus count. Bio Army will keep on chasing those Stalkers away too. 16 SCVs go down, so Clem takes a lot of eco damage, but he shows up onto this top left base, and he's going to go for this base. I mean, the Zealots that are charging in right now are not really in good enough number. I think MaxPax should just give up this base. If he gives up this base and defends the 4 bases back at home, I actually think he's going to be A-okay. Losing too many units trying to defend that location can give Clem an army advantage that you may never overcome again. So I think you just got to take your loss, give that base up, and move on from it, which it does look as though we've done in the end. Robo facility coming through, a couple missile turrets still building, plus 2 armor, plus 1 ship weapons, all coming online. Plus 3 attack will be coming through as well in the engineering bay. The plus 1 ship weapons about to finish. Missile turrets being done in the next few moments here from Clem. DT still building. DT shows up. A lot of CVs going down already. That's coming about. Just going to get in toward this bottom side base. Going to jump onto a couple of these SCVs. Just going to open up a set of rocks. Zealots, Stalkers. Trying to fight through, a bit of buy up the right-hand side for the moment. And Clem trying to engage him from 2 sides. We're back to 3 Colossus, and that Colossus count definitely is what scares me for Clem still. His army supply is okay, but his work count is quite far down. He's still rocking the 4 bases. MaxPax is going to 5 bases. He expands to the right, so kind of moving away from the base he was on previously. That upper left was apparently a step too far that he's not going to step back in that direction of. I'm catching a few Zealots here. Always nice, remove some of that potential counter-attacking damage. Stop MaxPax from having that available. However, Clem's 4th base is now going to be under heavy attack as this was not quite in position. Somehow doesn't lose any SCVs really here, just the focus on the orbital, I guess. SCVs pull into repair. Tell you what, Clem's medevacs are going to be so drained in this game. They are constantly having to heal. The fights are just keeping on happening. There's 100% a world where you lose too many of those, you know, you lose a few too many SCV, sorry. You use up, why am I going with this sentence? You go into some of these fights and you've used up so much medevac energy that then the medevacs really struggle to kind of like, you know, keep going. So we're seeing the Colossus firing away, the Bio coming about, just having the chase forward, a couple Colossus taking some hits right here. So it's coming over, STV is going to get jumped on, 3-3 coming up on the side of Clem. One of those Zealots going to get grabbed, just going to go jump on those, a couple of Vikings going to go after the Colossus. And Clem keep alive, yeah, dodges the Disruptor nicely, there's only a couple of Disruptors in play currently, so getting one dodge is nice. I'm actually going to get a good chase with the Vikings. They're going to be able to get straight after the Colossus. One more going down. And removing a lot of the reliable splash damage from this game from MaxPax. Disruptor going to grab a Ghost on the right-hand side, but both those Disruptors starting to drop. The force field not really good enough. Slows maybe a bit of Clem's army down, but I truly do not think enough of Clem's army to truly stop him right now. And this is actually turning into an absolute nightmare for MaxPax. Oh, Disruptor shot there was a little bit better, though. Maybe that's what he needs. Still trailing an army supply, mind you. Another Disruptor shot will get a Viking clipped and brought lower on HP. 2 new Colossus on the way because Colossus are the key to this army. You need that consistent damage output, and the Colossus are going to provide that. So you have to replace them. Right now is not a bad time to replace them. Only 6 Vikings in the game. When Clem sees a couple of them, he may very well go into some more Vikings again. But until he sees them and confirms them, it's very difficult for him to justify that. However, big push to the top side. Oh man, Clem's got a lot here. He's going to outnumber heavily. Maybe the Disruptors can save the day. We're actually going to recall a lot of the units back over. That might force Clem to just have to back out of this. The Disruptor didn't do a lot. Stalkers were fortunate they didn't blink in a moment sooner, because that would have been directly into the Disruptors, which get targeted down. All 3 Disruptors go down. Clem finding all of those. Now a Colossus going down as well. MaxPax trying to chase, but you know what? His army's not sizable. At least it was teched up, but no longer. One Colossus ain't going to do much. Disruptors dead. And now a Marauder-based force on the right side going to go after probes here as MaxPax's 5th base is in trouble, and Clem continuing to bring the fight out to the Protoss and not fearing. In a game where he was pushed back, he was bullied around, he's going to start knocking down multiple different locations, drop into the main base, keep this game chaotic, and keep MaxPax on the run as he forces MaxPax back up into this main. He gets rid of the base top left-hand side. 24 probes, 25 probes going down. That economy of MaxPax, that has been the one thing keeping him strong in this game to make up for the 7,000 worst resources lost he's been trading. Yeah, it's gone. Well, a big chunk of it is gone at the very least as Clem continues to find more probes down on the low ground as he just continues to drop around. Army supplies are going to close in a little bit, and this might be a moment where Clem actually does need to slow. I think he's done a lot, but yeah, maybe giving up a few units in the process, so it's time to just let things simmer and let this kind of cook into a position where it's like, okay, well, how does this game look now that we're more equal on workers? Because now does Clem just build up into an army that MaxPax can't really stop? Or is this a case of actually Clem gave away a bit too much of his army advantage, that this is actually still somewhat even? We're going to find out here shortly. I think Clem missing Vikings right now to really fight these Colossus. It's a very Marauder-heavy force. Great at surviving the Colossus shots, terrible at getting through Zealots. We're missing an armor upgrade, by the way, for MaxPax. Only +2 armor is going to mean that all of those Zealots are always taking way more damage than they maybe could have been. We dove for Colossus there. The other one is super low. Oh my goodness, we don't even find the Viking shot on it, so that Colossus lives. Clem taking the opportunity to dive there and choosing the moment to fight. Felt as though he could continue in with it, so really felt like he had an opportunity on that one. Maybe wasn't quite there as much as he thought. I mean, honestly, if he got the second Colossus, though, I would have loved it for him. So it was not far away from being truly a success story, as the Bio will jump into the upper right side. Next is going to get jumped on. And we are going to get rid of that already as well, so that's just going to go straight down. And now MaxPax pushes across the other side, so he's actually going to get on top of some of the Terran bases here. Can Clem recover? He's got a lot of units across the map, so he's trying to kind of survive with the bare minimum. Those Colossus again, low again. We have Vikings, though, dead, and so the Vikings gone. It's going to clean things up a little bit. Clem is getting a base in return during this, still kiting away with those few units that are just refusing to die. He's going to die for the Colossus, gets one of them as well. Again, still removing some of the splash damage from this game. MaxPax can't keep up because he's just losing economy on the other side. My goodness. What an absolutely brutally incredible performance by Clem. Just first 2 games, absolute brutal kind of dominance, and then game 3 brings it back, plays a ridiculously crazy back and forth fight. Absolutely nuts. Plain and simple. Nuts. Damn. What a great game.